Welcome to NNN News. It's the only unbiased, unfiltered, unplugged news podcast. This bi-weekly podcast will cover current events as well as deep dive into more obscure topics. As always, I'm joined by my good friend and comrade, Neva Croft.
This podcast is so real, raw, and ravenous that even Twitter had to suspend our account because they feared the truth that we speak.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe here on the channel while it still exists. Today's show, we're going to have a debate between me and some Discord miscreant, kind of like Jeremy, except hopefully not as bad. Also we're going to have a very pleasant guest a little later in the show, name of Dustin Levitt. You might have heard of her. And don't forget, guys, the timestamps will be in the description below, so you can skip to various segments of the show. So make sure to look down there for links as well to stories that we cover. But enough blabbering. Let's just get into the news. We have a very special guest today, Dustin Levitt. Everyone, say hi to Dustin.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for that. That was very nice of you. Everybody all at once was saying.
I know. We're really glad to have such a titan of the industry with us today. I think you're going to be able to give us some really great perspective on some of our more recent news stories. Have you been following the DNC, that whole convention?
I followed what was important, like Billie Elish was there, Billie Eyelash. That really struck,
a chord,
I don't know a chord is what I was going to say chord. I didn't think nerve would work because I wasn't angry about it. I was very, very happy to know that, she's an influencer, right? Like, you remember, like, over the past couple years, like, pretty much half of the teenage girls have been making photos, especially on Instagram, of, like, they're just, like that was all her. Like, if you ever see some teenage girl making a picture and she's just, like, and she, like, dresses like she's homeless, like, that is because of Billie Eilish. They all, like, want to be her. Like, it's so weird.
I think they got a name for that. That's like the e-girl thing, right?
It's like the dead eye, like, I don't know, this facial expression. I've seen it for 2 years, and it's like, well, if she can convince everybody to dress homeless and
it's great. I think it's really
these stupid faces. Yeah.
Did anyone hear her attack on Trump? I think it was a very scathing attack.
Yeah.
If I was him watching that, I'd be pretty.
It was very educated. Yeah, it was very insightful. Like, she knows exactly what she's talking about.
I'm really glad.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see them bringing in somebody like that who can really just, rile up them Trumpers. The other thing that obviously we got to hear Kamala for the first time. And what do you guys think about Kamala? I'll pull up this article here. What do you guys think about Kamala as a VP pick?
Wow.
Strong.
Yeah. Very, very strong. Very brave. It's like we've had several protests over the past few months of people that are just like, hey, fuck the police, and then Joe Biden, alpha Chad move, decides, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna make my vice president a cop.
Yeah,
and it was.
But it was a smart move, I think.
Take that, Bernie Bros.
Right?
Fuck you guys. Like,
honestly, the other thing is kind of gross about this. So have you guys seen what Trump's been doing to her? He's been questioning her like every single day. Like, come on, guys, just because somebody has brown skin doesn't mean they aren't born in America.
Well, go ahead. Sorry, Nav. I don't.
My bad. I was going to say, this is a very typical example of Trump's racist and sexist behavior. He's intimidated by this very strong, very courageous woman of color.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, at first, I didn't think that she was really a POC because, there's the rules about Biden where, if you're not voting for her, then you're not black. And it's like, we didn't really know where Kamala was at the time. And she's really come out and proven that she is black. And Indian? Is she Indian, too? She's like a double POC. She's a double woman of color.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really brave. It's not like he's trying to pander to any kind of demographic there
no.
or anything.
But really, as far as something to balance out, Biden is black. But to balance out the sort of visual whiteness, I think it really presents a really interesting sort of contrast. that's really going to help with that. And I mean, if we look at a picture here are the two of them, Biden and Kamala wearing masks together. Don't they look cute together?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like
That's a power couple right there.
I'm not insinuating anything. They're both happily married as far as I know, but they would make a cute couple, right?
Where's this picture at, Norm?
Let me see if I can forward that to you really quick. I'll just send it in the chat. It's just a cute picture of we got Kamala and Biden walking together, like two little lovebirds, basically. I mean, it's really. I think it's a great photo.
I like that, with all the Antifa stuff, especially that we all used to do before we grew up and became the common sense centrists. It's like we really paved the way for fashion, right? Like everybody looks like they're Antifa now. Like especially them in this picture with their black masks and they just need some hoodies, I guess. But
I kind of sometimes get a little bit peeved at all these people stealing all like the mask stuff. Like I kind of liked being the ones who got to wear the mask. It was kind of cool and a little different. But I understand it. It's for the COVID virus. It makes sense. And just I'm going to share one more article on the screen for everybody. Just if you really didn't understand, Kamala Harris is a POC woman, and she isn't shy about that. She shouts out her cheetahs, and it might turn some head from those, backwater conservatives who never heard a word like that, who have never, seen it. But she isn't afraid to use that sort of give the campaign some sort of an urban flair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and that's what we need more in the White House, these days. Like we had the rednecks out there last election, just drink their Bud Light till the president's white again, and they got their wish. And when you think about it, we're gonna go right back to black with Kamala. I mean, Joe Biden might just like duck out, like after he wins, and then we're just gonna, surprise, we're gonna have another black president, first female black president. That's like it's another bonus, it's like you complete the level and then you get some kind of special surprise, some kind of bonus stage. And so I'm really looking forward to that. And so he made a really good move here. I mean, he's old. Joe Biden's really old, and it's like that's nothing against him. That would be ageism, but I don't know if he hasn't said really that he wants to go on for a second term after he stomps Trump in this term. And so, yeah, this is good. This is the golden age. This is the golden age, guys.
I've always said this. If anyone's going to be able to get a woman into the White House, it's Biden. Right. I really think that he'll be able to help us take this very historic step. And
as soon as he picked Kamala, I'm sure that Biden could just smell victory coming at that point. It's going to be an absolute wipeout.
Yeah. I mean, with Kamala and Biden, there's no chance. And I mean, we talked about this a little earlier. Billie Eilish, also on the team. I don't know. Do you think Billie Eilish might find a place in the cabinet or anything?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah, she should be the press secretary, I think. Because she's just like, it's just, wow, when she talks. I mean, she could breathe in the microphone and makes like millions of dollars just kind of, bad guy. And like, can you imagine that, bringing that style to the White House? I mean, I'd like to be there to ask her a question and to hear her kind of mutter and whisper it. It's just, I mean, 18 years old, that she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, what's with all these really smart, like 18-year-old young women? Like, I mean, you got Greta Thunberg, you got Billie Eilish. You seem to know so much about the world, even though they lack that sort of traditional life experience.
Yeah, at least just some kind of education or anything. It's like we're just finding all these genius 14 to 18-year-olds that they just. I mean, who's another great example? David Hogg. I wish I had my Hogg medallion right now. I think I packed it already. If you guys haven't noticed, there's nothing in this room. Like, it's just bare room with a desk and a computer. It's really weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you for coming to us even through all the struggles of that. Really. Appreciate you taking that, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I do what I.
They have so many great, almost they're champions of their generation. They really are champions of their generation. But you know who isn't a
We'll have to look
champion to
forward
me?
to it.
Have you guys
Who's
seen
that?
the AOC thing?
Oh yes.
Which thing?
Let me send you the link really quick, just in case you don't have it. But it's AOC. I'm just gonna play the clip really quick if you guys wanted to watch this at the same time.
Here today,
Right,
endeavoring
yeah.
towards a better, more just future for our country and our world. In fidelity and gratitude to a mass people's movement working to establish 21st century social, economic, and human rights, including guaranteed health care, higher
She
education,
blabbers on about a bunch
living
of stuff
wages,
like living
and
wages
labor
and
rights,
all that. Let's
our
see. Let's get to
democracy,
the end.
and lack of health care.
Okay.
And
Lack
that
of healthcare. I got it.
I hereby
AOC.
second the nomination of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont.
Okay, so she says at the end, I hereby second the nomination of Senators Bernard Sanders from Vermont. First off, who calls him Bernard? Like, come on, it's Bernie.
Right.
But what is she doing? How does she justify being such a traitor to the Biden cause? I mean,
this is so tough.
You know how these Bernie people are, though. You know, like it could be like, I mean, they were actually out there during this DNC convention talking about, like, they had posters and everything about how they wanted, us just to be like, hey, fuck it with Biden. Let's have Bernie be the nominee. Like, still, like, and so you have people like AOC that are just infected by this, like, desperation, I guess, and like, but they really still right now, as we're talking, think that there's going to be some way to get Bernie to be the nominee. First of all, I think you have to have a lot of people voting for the nominee, and they didn't do that. It's so weird, like, how they still believe, people like AOC and down, they still believe that he's going to net more votes. They didn't come out and vote for Bernie enough to even win Washington state. So
yeah, guys, newsflash for you: Bernie voters don't vote. I mean, all they
yeah, that's a problem. That's a real problem, isn't it?
They smoke their pot.
The ones that do they do Bernie or bust. So a lot of them, these Bernie supporters, they abstain from voting, or even worse, they go and vote for the Orange Menace. So these people are traitors to the cause.
They're unstable. Yeah, they're horrible.
I wonder, should she have been cut off? Like, should they have just cut off her camera feed during the DNC? Like, this should be treason, in my opinion. I think
Absolutely.
Just go to a technical difficulties screen or something like that. Yeah, like, whoops.
Or, like, do what the Facebook does or the Twitter, where they present, like, this media isn't good, or what. I don't know what the captions are.
Oh, yeah, like, I think they did that even in Fox News when Trump was talking, where they went back to the anchors and they're like, oh, we didn't know he was going to say that. Like, so like, and then they'd be like, sorry about that, and apologize to everybody, because that's what they should have done. Like, yeah,
they really
I mean, that should not be in the DNC convention.
I don't want to see it in my DNC. That's all it is.
Yeah, horrible.
But despite all this, we have some CNN expert analysis here. I'll just pull it up on screen. They're covering the hits and misses, and apparently the only real misses were the Republicans, from what this CNN wrap up has said. They were saying Donald Trump. Did you guys see Donald Trump's rant on Twitter?
No,
which one?
Yeah, which one? So he was just on Twitter, and he was typing in all caps. He said, "Why did he refuse to endorse Slow Joe until it was all over? And even then was very late." But he typed that in all caps, like an old man,
Mm.
It really is. It's just like, if anyone had failed at the DNC, it has to be Trump, because he just didn't know how to react. Like, he was just, feeding into it, and he was proving that he couldn't be president, in my opinion.
The worst part is, like, he calls him Slow Joe, but Joe Biden is easily more mentally capable and fit than Donald Trump.
In a race, totally. I mean, Biden could totally beat Trump. I mean,
he's pretty fast.
And Trump's pretty fat. And I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to be triggering anyone there, but
Joe was in the military, right? Like, come on.
Was he?
I think I'm not really. I don't know that.
Why not? Why not? Let's just say he was.
I'm pretty sure. And I mean, they call him Iron Joe for a reason. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, they all do. You don't hear it enough, but we're calling him Iron Joe. It's better than Slow Joe.
Because he's like the USS Constitution. If you guys know, that's a famous ship. He's much like that in the sense that he's indestructible, and he'll beat Trump in a foot race, guaranteed. He's not Slow Joe. I really don't appreciate Trump being like that. Trump sucks. Trump sucks. You know, it really
is like real life Captain America.
Yeah, and it's funny to see Trump get so triggered like this. Like, you know, I know triggered is like a meme. They're always talking about how like we get triggered as journalists, but you know what? I've never angry tweeted in all caps about somebody who I disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I'm just gonna go out and say it right here, guys. I just don't like Trump. You know, I'm sorry, unpopular opinion.
Yeah, it's a strong position to take, and I really appreciate that you're taking it for us. And
that was very brave, Dustin. Very admirable.
Thank you. You know, I'm just trying to bring out some some new. I'm blazing new trails here. You know, I don't like Trump. I think he's an orange bigot. He's racist.
Well,
and
you know, I don't. You're a centrist, but you're not alone in hating Trump. In fact, a lot of Republicans or previous Republicans are turning away from Trump. It's
the never Trumpers, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
love those guys.
A big fan of Mitt Romney. If you guys don't know, Mitt Romney is from Massachusetts. Big up, Mitt. And he was one of the first never Trumpers. I mean, he saw how bad this was going to get, and he took the time to just get out of the whole scene, and I really think that's awesome.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with him just being kind of like butthurt about losing or anything. It was just, he saw that Trump was just such a nightmare, such a danger to the world, really. And that's what it was all about, there wasn't some reason that like the two like rivals in the GOP, like the two top ones, were John McCain and Mitt Romney. Like there wasn't anything connected there. The fact that they lost or anything, they weren't angry about that. I mean, we can all make that assessment. They really just, they were on our side. They're going to be on our side, and it's like the Republicans need to get back to what really matters, and that's it's okay to lose when it's for the greater good of the country. It's that's all I have to say. So yeah. I'm glad they're voting for it.
And a little later in the program, we're going to go over some, I don't know if you guys have seen this, they've been releasing Republicans against Trump videos. A little later in the show, we'll watch a couple of those because they're really good. But to get into a slightly more biblical topic, have you guys seen what's been happening lately? I think God might be mad at us because we're seeing like blackouts in California. I mean, the record temperatures. How could this thing get any worse, really? Like we got the COVID virus, that's plague, record temperatures. I think that was in the Bible. I mean,
yeah.
What do you?
My Twitter account got deleted. That was another bad one. I mean, this year has been so awful.
What is God or Allah or whatever you want to call him have against
Allah
us?
Because I don't want to offend our Muslim comrades.
Yeah, let's say Allah. So, what does Allah have against us? Why is this year turning out like it is?
It's punishment. It's a forecast of what will happen if we don't elect Joe Biden.
Whoa,
I think it's a message. That's what it is, right? And it's been like, it's been 100 years since the last, the plague and all that, and the Depression, and it's like in the United States and other parts of the world, and it's like at that point we got like, we got so many things like the New Deal and all that kind of stuff, and it's like now we're looking at like the Green New Deal, like right, like it's just like a cycle, like in 10 more years we're gonna have the Green New Deal. It's gonna be signed, it would just be like it was last time with all this stuff, and
yeah, I think Socrates was one to comment quite often about the secular nature of sort of how the world works in society. So I think we're really seeing that. You know, we're seeing the plagues. You know, we might see a second or third coming. You know, maybe another prophet. We don't know.
Well, if you think about it, it's like Trump is like, I know Herbert Hoover was more like during all this recession stuff, it was like 1929 or something like that. But like, you know, he's like, Trump is like the Herbert Hoover of our time. Like, you know, people are being evicted. They're going to be living in tent cities. They've already been living in tent cities. Really, the fact that people have been living in tent cities for the past like 40 years or something. I don't know how long. Just like, it's all his fault. You know, even if he wasn't president, it's really people like him. It's their fault. You know, like they have all these towers and I don't have an affordable, you know, 5-bedroom apartment. I remember somebody was writing an article about that on NPC Daily, and it's like,
yeah, it's gross that on minimum wage I can't afford an apartment for, let's say, if I had like a few kids, like 3 or 4 kids or whatever, like a normal amount of kids, I should be able to afford that on a minimum wage, I believe.
I should be able to go to work at McDonald's. You know, it's easy right now. We were talking earlier about how they don't even have to. They just run the drive-through, but people can't even go in a lot of them. And it's yeah, I should be able to do that. You know, 5-bedroom minimum. It's like in the United States, especially. You know, I know in Neville's case it's a little different, but like here we have so much space. Like everybody should be able to have a 5-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, that's just the standard of living, I think.
Oh man.
But
it makes me sad because over here you get the rich old white men that steal and hoard most of the land, and they make people pay extortionate amounts of rent, and it really makes me feel sad. I just hope that you guys don't follow the same footsteps as we do.
Yeah.
It's really the landlords are fascist, I think. You know?
Absolutely, yes.
But
I mean, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna we have Joe Biden on one end of the things, which is going to make things right. Everything's going to be beautiful. It's going to be back to normal. And then we have the Bernie people, you know, that want like Chairman Mao to murder them. And it's like, we can't go down that. We won't be any better than they are. And it's like, we need to put them in jail and camps.
They say stuff like feel the burn. Like, what is that supposed to mean? That sounds violent to me.
Well, they've been burning crap for the past 3 months, and they've been turning all these peaceful protests into like they're trying to push it into like a riot, which, you know, it's obviously not. Like most of them are peaceful.
And sometimes this sort of stuff can be a little justified. I have a story here about. Have you guys heard about the Portland? Like they call it. This article misrepresents. They call him a beatdown victim. I like to say that's justice served victim, in my opinion. Apparently, he posted anti-George Floyd memes like an hour before he got attacked, which I don't even know if he got attacked. That might be fake news. That might be a psyop. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? Like, I always thought that
karma.
Yeah, it's karma. I always thought the whole thing was, you know, talk shit, get hit, right? I mean, when did that stop, right?
That was the slogan. Yeah. I saw a video of what was it, the guy? I think it was at Sturgis actually. Like. Yeah, like someone kicked his bike or whatever. Did you guys see that video? It was just really recently. There was some Antifa guy, like at a Mohawk, and he was like protesting in the middle of Sturgis with all these cops, and he kicked some bikers bike, and then like all these like bikers started coming in, and they were gonna beat the shit out of this guy, and the cops got in the way, and it's like, they seem like, you know, like I thought, okay, they're anti-cop. Until the cops come and save them from stuff that, you know, that's not peaceful protesting. You don't kick bikes and stuff, and it's, yeah, I don't know. Like, they just live by their slogans, and then until they don't, and I mean, journalists are nonviolent. Mm-hmm. You know, we're nonviolent people.
Yeah, I want to make that clear.
Yeah, and nonviolent people in the world.
And I thought that was the way of doing things, you know. That's why we're going down the Biden way of doing things. And it's like, sure, we might support people that might seem violent, you know, like, but we're not really supporting them. We're supporting anti-fascists, right? We're not supporting we're not supporting the people that burned down Wendy's.
It's like I don't support the police, but I support, for example, a postal agent who's going to take down Bannon, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't trust the federal government until they arrest somebody that is alt-right or whatever. Then that's okay. I mean, we can all agree on that those people were guilty when they get arrested. But all cops are bastards until until they're not.
This is a good one. I don't know if you've read the Steve Bannon thing. He wasn't arrested by a pig. He was arrested by a nice postal worker.
I kind of read the article about that.
Yeah, I have it up on screen right now for everyone watching at home. But yeah, so Postmaster General really he caught this guy who and obviously this is kind of funny. It's sort of just desserts because Trump has been doing this whole thing right now where he's trying to destroy the mail system to try to stop mail-in voting, right? So it's kind of just desserts that one of his dudes is going to get taken down by a post agent. And
so postal inspectors interviewed Lee Harvey Oswald about. So they've been involved in a lot of things. They also took a role in hunting down Ted Kaczynski, the notorious mail bomber arrested in 1996. Man, so these guys are some badasses.
They're hard workers. I mean, I think I was thinking they should make like a movie or something, like a television show. I don't know what you'd call it, but like You Got Mail, or like Mail Is Here, or like Get Mailed. I'm just spitballing ideas right now.
Delivered or something. I don't know.
Delivered. Oh yeah, the Deliverer.
The Deliver.
I think Deliverer would be
Deliverance. Just call it the same thing.
Deliverance. That's great. But really, I think these postal agents don't get enough credit. Like, when was the last time you heard about a brave postal worker losing their life in the line of duty? I think so rarely, but I imagine it happens so often. I don't have the statistics to back that up, but I think
it's funny to talk about this. Like, recently, I did have my mailbox stolen by a Trump supporter. I wrote an article on that and did a video. It was terrifying. I just woke up and it was gone. I mean, how am I going to consume the correct opinions and views and understand how bad the bad people are?
That's horrible, man.
Yeah, that
it's scary.
They would take your sovereign mail property. I mean, it's grotesque. I think this is all part of the whole Trump thing. He's trying to destroy the mail, but I think we need more mail agents. We need to give them guns. We need to give them more power so that they can help stop this. I mean, I'm not saying write a blank check to the U.S. Postal Service, but we can at least add a couple extra cents on every stamp.
We should take the money that we get from defunding the police and put it into the Postal Service.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, a 2-for-1.
I'm thinking like my stimulus. It's like, my second stimulus. I was going to put it all towards Biden, but I think Biden might want me to put like half of the stimulus check towards him, and then half of it, I'm just going to like buy random crap at the USPS place. Because, they always sell like overpriced like tape dispensers and novelty stuff. And it's like, I'll just buy it. I'll just, stock up $600. Just buy a bunch of random stuff. And I think we should all, do our part. USPS, like they... it's just so affordable, The USPS never is ripping us off.
I don't think I put this in the document, but there was actually some talk about apparently Trump is delaying some of the well, they're not severance packages, some of the money, the relief money that he's sending out, the stimulus checks. Some of them are getting delayed, and I don't know. I think that he might be trying to delay it to reduce Biden's funding. I think that's
that sounds about right.
I mean, why else would he want to delay these stimulus checks? Like, what other?
They want to stretch it out, I think, until like the very last couple weeks or something, and then so that remember all those like black people that were on Twitter, former black people that were like, all excited, like, damn homie, I'm gonna vote for Trump now because he gave me all this money. And So they want to have that happen again, and they want it to be fresh in their minds when they go over and they vote. Like they'll do it like the last week of October or something.
They want that $1,200 to be in the person's pocket as they go into that booth.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, Neville.
One sec. Well, we'll pause the stream when we get this technical difficulty fixed. Okay, we're back there. Yeah, I don't know. I think again, we've been having technical issues related to this podcast. I mean, the first week, I literally had to have my phone in the garden to siphon Wi-Fi off because some bad actor trolls had been DDoSing my router for like a week. It was awful. It really, people are trying to take this podcast down. I don't know why. I think it's because we speak truth to power. It's the same reason why the podcast Twitter account was taken down.
Yeah.
The bad actors fear the journalists.
They fear them. And
and how many Twitter accounts did we lose? I remember you guys lost one.
We lost two because Neva lost his personal account and then we lost the show account.
Dustin, please don't remind me.
Oh, geez.
I'm sorry, man. I just feel so bad. I'm so bent up about losing a Twitter account. It's never happened before.
It's awful.
It's so hard. I mean, I can't fight for justice anymore on Twitter. It's so sad. I'm so sorry.
Well, it's those Bernie bros, right? Like, they knew that you would make fun of them for not endorsing Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't know, man. It's bad. It's we lost a lot of people. You guys need to see if you get a lawyer Andy on here. He lost his son.
Yeah, we're in talks with lawyer Andy. He made me sign like 50 release forms, so we're still working on that paperwork.
Oh yeah, he'd probably make me do it too if he knew I was getting on here.
Isn't
planning
on suing?
Sorry, was that Neville?
Isn't lawyer Andy planning on suing Twitter about oppression?
Yeah, he's going to take it down. I guess members of the media often face issues with the law. I mean, have you seen the InfoWars, the Millie Weaver thing? I know Dustin actually reported on this live.
Yeah, I made fun of that. I was like, oh no, another e-girl's down. Oh, boo-hoo. And I don't know. Some seemed so sketchy about that, didn't it? It was was dead on. Like she stole her mom's phone or some crap. That's what they're saying.
I got a fact sheet here. I'll pull up. So what they're saying is that she's being indicted for the theft of a $50 phone, essentially.
Why though?
Robbery.
I know they make some money on InfoWars. I know they make some money off of Brain Force, but I don't know how much they give her a cut.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't have a lot. If there's going to be a civil suit or what's going to happen with that. It was just. I mean, I don't like InfoWars, right? Obviously, I want to get that clear. We're not necessarily endorsing InfoWars, but to see a fellow journalist just get taken down like that is a little scary, right?
Because unapproved journalist.
She is unapproved,
That's true.
I've talked to a lot of people at InfoWars, and some of them are pretty nice, I guess. They seem nice, but I can't say that any of them are approved, Owen Schroyer is probably the one I know most. It's sorry, buddy. Unapproved. I'm glad that you lost your Twitter account. You deserved it. You deserved it.
But I mean, maybe she isn't doing that well. Like you were saying that a little earlier. But what if that's why she stole the $50 phone?
That had to be it. It was probably some Virgin mobile phone or something like that, some prepaid, and that's how desperate she is. She's gonna take it to the pawn shop. Probably already did. That's probably why they showed up.
That's probably why that was tampering with the evidence. She disposed of it at the pawn shop.
That's it.
It's sad. It's a little sad to see somebody fall so far.
Yeah, and then the guy from the Rebel. Yeah, the guy from the Rebel set up that whole fundraiser that made over 100,000 probably. I don't know how much, but it was a lot. And it was just immediately just set off that grift,
should have done that instead of selling a $50 phone, right?
Yeah, just hook yourself up with Ezra Levant and set up a GoFundMe for some bullshit. And I thought that's what they normally do anyway. That's what the Antifa people do.
All right, this is a little spitball. This is a little tinfoil hat. But what if the whole thing was a grift? I know everyone talks about grifting now, but what if the mom, because it was all in the family, what if the mom was grifting the entire country? and right, the mom went to the police with this small, tedious thing in order to get Millie arrested, and then she's going to drop the charges.
That's a good point.
I mean, this could be one big. We don't know how deep the grift goes.
Certainly possible.
And, you know, we were talking a little earlier in the show about how sometimes the police can be good and the government can be good. I think one of these cases is shutting down these big parties. The story we have up right now is, Dustin, had you read about the Jake Paul getting busted and raided thing?
Yeah, I have read about that, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a similar story. This is an influencer in LA. I'd never watched this man's content before. He's a TikTok star, Bryce Hall, if you guys are into that sort of stuff. He was throwing a big house party with like 100 people. I doubt any of them were wearing masks. And the city just shut off his power. Like, honestly, that's so. I think we should start like making that the law. If you have a gathering with more than like 3 people or whatever, then you should get your power shut off instantly. Like, it shouldn't even be a big deal. I don't even know why this has to make news. This should just be the standard, in my opinion. And he was a TikTok star, so whatever that says to you.
What are your guys' thoughts on TikTok being banned by Trump?
Well, wasn't really too into TikTok. I'd been sort of getting involved in the witch stuff. I don't know if you guys know about witch talk. That was something that interested me with TikTok. And I think that Trump is obviously doing that because he's afraid of the power that TikTok has, right? Because obviously,
I kind of like that TikTok's gone just on like an apolitical level because it was annoying to me. But I don't know. Like I saw that there was some kind of bipartisanship that came together where people on both sides were wanting to ban it, and it was kind of like it reminded me of like, you know, after 9/11, like for the first time I saw a little glimpse of some kind of like, you know, just forming together. Like, this is the most bipartisan thing that we've had together since after 9/11, when we came together and, you know, we did all those bullshit wars. But I don't like that Trump is going to get a victory out of it. But, you know, on the other hand, we got to heal this nation, and Trump's going to be out the door, and the Republicans are going to go back to losing all the time. So maybe it's just some kind of like, you know, 4D, 5D chess kind of thing.
That's an interesting.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting perspective.
What about you, Neville? What do you think?
Oh, you see, I was thinking back to what you said about those genius 18, 17-year-old kids that are very smart and they're educating other people. Like, you've got young Biden supporters, even Bernie supporters. But you do have a large, young, kind of far-right population on TikTok. This is very evident. They're misogynistic, they're racist, and unfortunately they have a large presence. So on the one hand, I'm very happy to see them go.
Right, Nick Fuentes and all those kind of guys were getting on there, and they keep getting banned. I don't know if they're still raiding the place, but
because of the moderation on TikTok is really pretty subpar. I think people can easily, you know, get around bans and stuff. I don't think there's really that much 2-factor authentication required. I mean,
that makes sense, because it's like that's like that with like cryptocurrency stuff. It's really locked down except on like the Chinese marketplaces. You can just get on there and you don't have to verify anything. And yeah, it's a lot better on there.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, the last story we have to talk about here in the recent news section is Goodyear. If you don't know, they make tires and assorted tire accessories. They have a new zero tolerance policy which bans both Blue Lives Matter flags, insignias, hats, and MAGA or Make America Great Again gear. So that would also be MAGA hats.
Round of applause, right, guys? Yeah.
Round of applause. And I have a still here. Let's see if I can copy that for you two, just so you can see it.
Honestly, I remember being really excited when I heard this news.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are going to love what I did. When I first heard this news, I just bought some new tires, you know. I got some tires that are like, you know, some expensive Continentals for my Volvo, you know. I was really proud of them. But I was like, You know what? Like, these are brand new tires, but I gotta go. I gotta go with the Goodyears. You know, so I just took them off and I threw them away. I put them in the dumpster, and I went out and bought some. Well, you know, I kept them and tossed them in the dumpster afterwards. I didn't go there without tires, but you know, like, yeah, I'm happy with my new Goodyears. I think everybody should do this, even if you have new tires. You know, slash them, get them off your car. Like, and put on some Goodyears, and I think we should all do this.
I really think a new tactic, you know, I'm not saying, obviously, we don't support violence or vandalism, but if you were going to slash a tire, if you see it's a Goodyear tire, don't slash it. I mean, that means they're a supporter. And that's
very smart.
I really like how they've laid out the zero tolerance policy here. They say acceptable, Black Lives Matter, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender pride. Unacceptable, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, MAGA attire, or politically affiliated slogans or materials. And I think they should put an asterisk for that. I think they mean Trump-affiliated materials.
Well, I think, like, it's just Black Lives Matter and LGBT. It's like, what's political about that? That's just saying, hey, you know, I'm a normal, decent human being. And it's like, there's nothing really political in that message. So yeah, it was confusing to me that they said all political stuff there, but it's kind of like, yeah, they could change that because there is some political things. What about Biden stuff? I don't see Biden in there anywhere. Let's make that acceptable because there's nothing bad with that. Like,
yeah,
Biden attire.
It makes total sense.
They should put journalist stuff there, so they could add J to LGBT.
They could do that, exactly. I don't even know why I didn't think of that, but yeah, LGBT. That's, oh man,
it's a little bit of a screw up, but like, they're taking a step in the right direction. I'm gonna give them credit for that at least. And I think
it's really, extremism in the workplace now.
You know, I think we have these great people who you know, these great tires to buy. Obviously, I think you've talked about this before, Dustin. The Nazi tires you can buy in Canada. Like, it's kind of interesting that these tire companies are such a big political stance now. I mean, what tire you use can really define what sort of person you are. I mean, it's similar to like bootlace code, I think, in the punk.
And obviously, the best option is just to not buy tires, to not have a car, and to take public transportation. But it's kind of like we're in this transitional period right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if we can get one of our guys, one of our peoples in the Discord to make us a little infographic for that, because I think we could really do something with. If you guys don't know about bootlace code or whatever for the punk community, I think tires are going to become a very similar thing. You know, if you have Goodwills, it means you're a BLM supporter. If you have Canadian tires, it means you're a Nazi or it's like a skinhead. I think
or the gay handkerchief color code thing. That's an old one. So we could do something like that. Like they have like, oh man, I don't want to. That's not family friendly stuff. But some of those handkerchiefs, what they mean. But
we'll have to get our guy, you know, one of our people like Trent or something on that infographic.
Yeah, Trent will probably get it done.
That'll be good. But that concludes the recent news segment. Like I said, we have the guest segment now. And just to get the conversation started, if anyone doesn't know, there's been a recent Twitter purge. And it just really seems like Twitter must be afraid of our opinions or something. Because, I mean, we were talking about this a little earlier in the show, but how many accounts do we think we lost? I mean, obviously we lost the main journalist EW account. Levi lost 2 accounts. He lost his personal and the show account.
Please don't remind me. It's too sad.
I'm really sorry about that. NPC Daily is taken down.
Base Lindsay lost her account. I think you guys had her on last time.
Yeah, and some of them actually have been able to be restored. NPC Daily has been restored, if you guys haven't heard, which is huzzah for that. But
it's a very rare thing when that happens.
Have you been contacting Twitter support, I assume, Dustin? How's that going for you?
Yeah, I mean, I go through the process of, you know, I'm waiting for the appeal thing. I figured it was going to come during the DNC convention because they did it just hours before the DNC convention. You know, they purged us. They purged a bunch of accounts, which some of them were not anything like us. Like, they suspended Babylon Bee for some period of time. They suspended Titania McGrath. They suspended a bunch of these like satirical characters Liberal Larry is one of them.
That's what
and it's like
me. Like, why did we get lumped in with all this satire crap?
I don't know. And it's like, I get it that they are unapproved comedy. All they're doing is making jokes, but they don't have a comedic license to really do it. At least there should be a comedic license. And it is unapproved comedy. I think we've discussed that many times in the past when, on our Discord and everything. And it's, I don't know why we got lumped in with those people. I think it's because Twitter is just full of Bernie bros, and that's what we're dealing with right now. Bernie or bust, or bust type of people, and that's what we've got to deal with because we didn't decide to dox people. We didn't decide to send death threats to people, and our bad.
We tried to take the noble position of journalists, and it's just been we got taken out for it. I'm lucky I still have my account, so we will have some polls related to the show a little later on. We'll talk about that, and that will go up on my account, and I'll link to that in the description. But do you guys think that Parler is going to gain any traction? What's everyone's thoughts on that? I don't, personally. But
I'm not sure. You see, we've had a lot of far-right people move from Twitter because they're not welcome there now, and they've moved on to Parler. It's becoming their far-right echo chamber.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, you have like Mark Levin who's pimping it out though, like on the radio. I've listened to him talk about it, and I'm monitoring the situation. I got a lot of other stuff going on, but I really am trying to keep on top of this Parler thing. And it's mostly like the older MAGA people are really on it right now, and it's they have some really goofy rules about a lot of stuff. Like you can't be on there as a satirical account without labeling yourself as satire and like all this other stuff. And it's like, that's fine, but really satire in general shouldn't be on there.
I think they should have a strict no satire.
They're just going to have Babylon B and people like that. Like, it's not like Gab so much yet, like where it's, it's like 1488, like Nazi hell on Gab. But it's getting there for sure. It's probably a fun place to mess with Trump supporters and not get banned. But I don't know.
The thing that gets me is that like, it feels so hard to even do shows like this or make content online when you see all these platforms are so flippant with the bans they throw out. I mean, you've been on the internet for a long time, Dustin. You've been doing this stuff for a while. How do you deal with that sort of? How does that affect your motivation to know that at any point your content could just be nuked?
Well, I mean, it affected me more back in the day, I guess, but I go into these things knowing that it's going to happen now, and it's like it's really funny when this stuff does happen because when you have people that aren't used to it, like they do think it's a bigger deal than it is, but you have a lot of other people to take it as a victory that it happened because they hate you or something. That's like, well, it was gonna happen, and you didn't do anything besides be really insignificant and like you just sat around just like being angry about whatever. But it's like, I mean, whose side are you on? Are you on the side of like these billion-dollar corporations which are like silencing you and stuff, like because they'll say things like there had to be a good reason they got rid of them, while they're complaining about other people. Like, and it's just like, you need to take the full side on the fact that these Bernie bros are running Twitter and just banning good journalists. And I don't get sad about it so much. I take it more as a victory that I had some huge corporation, some creepy corporation get so angry. And you guys that lost your stuff too, like, Neville, like, you should take it as a victory that you were put on some like Post-it note. And then like, you were purged. Like there was.
So, Dustin, in the very unlikely event that Donald Trump does win the election and secures his second term, do you think that America will be able to survive an extremely increased number of protests that will inevitably happen in that case?
Yeah, well, I think it is definitely going to get pretty bad because, well, I mean, right now you see everybody's kind of pouring all they've got into to beating Trump, and just like last time, but it's people are going to feel very hopeless after this if he does win, and because before I think they'll be more hopeless than ever because like we're going to have to deal with another 4 years just like last time, but I think the first term it was like, well, we can get him impeached, we can like we have midterms to look forward to, but I think we're going to have like a solid year of just pure chaos. And will we survive? I don't know, because there's going to be a lot of conspiracies on both sides of all of this, and I think it's probably we're going to pin it, of course, on the country that deserves it, like Russia, but I'm sure they're the ones that are going to get him to win again. But it's like, I just don't know what to expect. But I think for a solid year after this, it's going to be probably worse than it's ever been before. Maybe it'll cool down after that, right?
Hopefully, but I don't know. Scary times are ahead if Joe Biden loses. I mean, Joe Biden represents hope. That's what he symbolizes.
Yeah.
And
hope and
the idea that we could lose now is just it's scary. It's just scary, and I have trouble even believing that it's possible.
Obviously it's not possible. I mean, I haven't looked at the odds recently, but I mean, Biden's up. Biden's gonna win. It's just I can't imagine being let down. Now with Biden.
The only way I could think things get screwed up is if the media mishandles Kamala Harris. So that's why I think it's really awesome that the DNC had sent out this letter to the media. Have you guys seen the letter to the media? It basically tells us how to cover a vice presidential candidate who's also a POC woman. It's basically saying, we can't report on any issues she has. We can't talk about her physical appearance, if she looks healthy or not. Basically we have to avoid all of the stuff that we had sort of done incorrectly with Hillary Clinton. Talking about her health, talking about her mental state, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of insulting. I mean, they're telling us approved journalists how to do our jobs, and I don't like the sound of that.
But I mean, we can trust them, right? They're like they're the DNC. They brought, Joe Biden probably co-wrote this. I don't know that for a fact, but I don't know. I hope that this can help, because I think there's an issue, and I don't know if you want to touch on this, Dustin, about journalists being hated by the public. I mean, what do you think the deal with that is?
Well, it's like it goes back to Jesus Christ, really. Like the truth tellers, the people that see the world for who they are. It's like just throughout history, they've always been, just attacked. It's like we're telling the truth, and people are just like, no, shut up, and and then they just don't want to hear it. Like, what can we do about ignorant people? What there's just not much that we can do about it. It's just that's the way human nature is. Everybody thinks that they're right. Like the mask thing, that everybody thought they were right about the mask. The CDC said don't wear the masks because they won't work, and then they quickly adjusted that and said, hey, wear the masks, and people are like, no, I'm not going to wear the masks. And it's
I think Woody Guthrie said something. It was if Jesus was to preach like he did in Galilee, they would lay Jesus Christ to his grave, which I think means that the world isn't ready for truth tellers. Even today, that we hold ourselves at such a high standard. It's just they're not ready for us, and they're not ready for the truth we tell. I guess that's pretty good. Didn't you do a poll once, Dustin, where you asked what people hated more, and it was like journalists, Donald Trump, pedophiles, and like journalists almost lost?
It was journalists, racists, and pedophiles and Antifa, maybe? I think that might be what it was. Yeah.
That sounds right.
It was like really close, like 50, no, not 50-50. There's 4 options but like, the top 2 was like pedophiles and journalists almost won it. Like the last second, it was just a little bit more for the pedophiles. So second hated out of all of those. Yeah, we were. It's sad, you know. It's been like, you know, that was the whole point of journalist excellence worldwide, you know, to advocate for these people. Like, journalists are under attack now more than ever at any point in history. You know, more than yesterday, more than 10 years ago. You know, whatever. More than now. Like, more now than when I just said that. Yeah. Like, we are more attacked.
It gets worse.
And it gets worse. It's getting worse right now. It's like, it's just keeps. I can't go to sleep. Yeah, you know,
And what is like? So how do you think like that climate's obviously changed, like being a journalist, but how do you think that the political climate has changed, like compared to the pre-Trump era?
Oh, it was awesome back then. You know, like we had Obama, and it was like we kind of like didn't really have to cover him. You know, like we didn't really, because we knew that he was a good guy. He was a cool black guy, and it was like drones. You know, it was like arming the cartel right? down in Mexico. Like, you know, like who cares? Benghazi, like it didn't matter. You know, none of that mattered back then. And it was just like, you know, little goof ups, you know, all these little things, you know, bailing out the auto industries and banks and everything, whatever. And that was better. There was smooth sailing. And now we have to focus. We have to obsess over this president. And we have to look for all these things that he does wrong, because he does so many things wrong. And it's like, I just can't believe it. Like, you know, these cages where they hide all of the Mexican kids. And it's like, oh, gosh, I've never seen these before. Like, he must have put them up. Trump did. And I just can't believe there's so many bad things that the government does. You know, I had no idea when Obama was president. Never knew it. You know, that never happened. No bad things happened.
Yeah.
And it just drives me nuts. It's really aggravating to be a journalist now, to actually have to look at what the government is doing for the first time in at least, you know, well, now it's been like 12 years almost, but
really worry about it.
Dustin, as a prominent member of the media yourself, how do you believe that the media stirs up an outrage? What are your thoughts on that?
Do we play a role in provoking outrages? I think that we just kind of we kind of just are highlighting the anger of the public. I mean, people need to realize that the majority of people didn't vote for Donald Trump. They voted for Hillary Clinton. And we're providing a voice to those people. We're providing a voice to the people that matter, you know, not to the flyover states and, you know, like the people in the cities. And so I don't think that we're really like provoking an outrage with anything. Where people are angry. They deserve to be angry about things, and they deserve to be angry about Trump. And we're just finding things for them to be angry about, you know? Like we're filling the need, right? Like we're providing a service. Like they want to be pissed about Trump. We're figuring out, you know, things for them to be upset about. And
it's not hard. I mean,
it's not hard. No, it's really not. And it's like, in that way, I guess it's kind of easy to be a journalist right now, because I couldn't find anything to be angry about with Obama. You know, he wore a tan suit once. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah. You know, do you think that we'll ever return to, like, the Obama era normal? Like, do you think after Joe Biden gets elected, we'll be able to return to normalcy? Or what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that we're too far gone?
I gotta have hope, you know? That's the one thing. That's the unspoken word. You know, like, yeah, Obama said it all the time, hope, you know, hope for a better America. And then this happened. Well, we need like double hope. And yeah, I think it will happen. I think Biden is the guy to start leveling us out again. It's just, I just don't know if they're going to go away. Like, you know, there's a lot of never Trumpers. There's more people, but it's just, I think they're just going to like I mean, Russia is still a huge country. We still have to deal with them. Like, is it going to take a war? Yeah, probably. But you know what? We got to get rid of Russia somehow. I'm not saying we have to kill them, but like they're gonna put in. We got to get rid of them. You know, like we got to do something. Like I don't know what that means. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. A terms of service way of putting it is yeah, because they're just gonna put in someone new. We could have to deal with this again in 4 years. Like I can't even imagine. Can you guys imagine who's gonna run against Joe Biden in 4 years? Like,
I mean, who could even attempt? I think at that point we don't even need a second election. Like just give him the 8 years. You know, just all the years he got.
Yeah, because yeah, I think we should just do it. Like maybe we can figure out some way because they're gonna have like the majority in the Senate and the House and the executive, and hopefully soon the judicial. Like we'll get some of these Supreme Court justices out. I don't know. Like sometimes
I was, you know, this is a little screwed up. I was kind of hoping the COVID would help with that, sort of filter out some of the old money Republicans in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, as the ages call it, you know, they call it the boomer doomer, the boomer remover. You know, I don't like that word, the B word, but yeah, you'd be really surprised by how many people drown in swimming pools every year. It's crazy. We already lost one Supreme Court justice that way, pretty much. Probably could happen again, you know, and it'd be sad, you know. It would be obviously an accident. It's just who knows what will happen. Who knows what will happen? But I'm sure somehow we'll have a liberal majority in the Supreme Court. I just, you know, we'll see what happens. I don't know. What does Hillary have? I mean, you know, obviously, you know, she's got something planned for us. She's not going away anytime soon.
Which I'm happy about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy about that. It's just hit or miss right now, right? Like no one can say for sure if we'll still have a country. It's all riding on this election. You know, they always say that this election is the most important election ever. You know, and it's like, but this time, you know, even though they say that every time too, this time this is the most important election.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, you know, this one, like, oh man.
So, Dustin, regarding the whole coronavirus crisis, or the Trump virus crisis, whatever you want to call it, how long do you think we can go on for this? When do you think that we will reach the boiling point?
Oh, you know, it's gonna like totally be fine, like, I don't know, November 4th-ish or 5th-ish if Biden wins. I think it's just gonna like kind of, oh, coronavirus. What?
Naturally, yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's this natural thing. Like, that's what the projected time is. Like, but if Biden wins, that will be the case because, like, I think people will be inspired to finally everyone will wear a mask. You know, they'll be like, wow, I guess Biden was right. You know, he won the election. And so, everyone will wear a mask on November 4th. And by November 5th, no one will even be talking about the coronavirus anymore. But on the other hand, if Trump wins, well, I don't know. Who knows when it will go away, right?
Yeah. You know, and after the Twitter purge, this is the final question here. After the Twitter purge, where can people even find you now? If you want to, is there anything you want to plug or anything you can plug?
Oh, well, I mean, you can find me all over still. I mean, we're kind of all over Twitter, really, like, in a way. But, and we will be again at some point, but just go to like jlgbt.com and you can find links there. You know, we still have, you know, whatever, like the Facebook for Journalist Excellence Worldwide. And I've got a Telegram that I'm going to start using more.
Is that like I don't know. Network thing though with the Telegram, or is that just messaging?
I don't even fully understand it, really. I just know that you can't get deleted off of it really easily. And I see there's a lot of people that kind of use it, especially people that get like deplatformed.
And what you doing? Like gonna do like a newsletter or something?
I want to do like a mailing list, or like an email mailing list or something like that. That's another way, smart way of not being, you know, taken off of the internet entirely. And I don't know, maybe that's something I should really fast forward to when I get the chance, because
Well,
you never know when Facebook will get rid of me,
or
because
YouTube or
any
of the platforms.
Right, because YouTube, for some reason, I've had Boston Antifa survive forever on, but I remember the last time I got banned on Twitter, it didn't take more than like a few days before Facebook got rid of my Facebook page too.
Yeah.
So
I think
I'm surprised it's still up.
So yeah, we'll put the in the description below. We'll put a link to the JLGBTQ website link. That's a good place to sort of keep up to date. So even if we get taken off Twitter, maybe we'll have to make our own Twitter.
Yeah, or we can hop on that Parler and do some damage on there. But I'm
troll those Nazis though.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Have to bust through them. Well, thanks again, Dustin, for coming. We really appreciate having you on.
Pleasure to have you.
Yeah, no problem.
In a minute, we'll come back to you with stories we want to discuss. Okay, that was awesome to have Dustin on. Again, I just want to thank him again for really coming on. But we now move forward in the show to the stories we want to discuss. If you haven't seen the show before, this is a segment where Neville and I sort of go over a few stories we want to go a little more in depth on. But without, any more blabbering, let's get into this. Neville, have you heard about this whole thing where people are like insulting and making fun of Kamala Harris?
Oh, absolutely, calling her like phony Harris and so on, or phony Kamala. It's honestly, this is an attack on women of color everywhere.
Yeah, it's
slandering her as someone not to be trusted.
And they really need to just stop using. I wrote an article on this. I'll put in the description below. But we need to stop questioning her and using words like phony or nasty. I mean, these are all gendered terms. Like you would not hear.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't hear somebody call a man nasty or mean or something. Like these are terms that are used to attack her. And MSNBC were the ones they pointed this out for us, sort of show us the issue here. And I'm glad they did, because I don't think we realized how much of our language needs to be policed, because it's just been left, completely unruled, and we've gotten to this point where we're just saying deeply troubling things about the future vice president and possibly president. Exactly. I mean, it's gross.
Oh, I see a presidency in her future. Absolutely, it's unavoidable at this point.
For one way or
another. Person.
And speaking of future presidents, Joe Biden, obviously, we're big fans of Joe.
Rapper Cardi B and former vice president.
Absolutely, yes. Joe Biden's a hero.
If you guys haven't heard, Joe Biden had a little talk with Cardi B, and they sort of talked about child care, and he really get to have a heart-to-heart with her, which I think was a really awesome experience. And guess what Joe Biden's new nickname is? Because it's pretty awesome.
Joey B.
Joey B, right? I thought Iron Joe was good, Corn Pop was fine, but I'm happy that we got new Joey B coming to office, and I'm really glad that he's taking the initiative. Clearly, Biden cares a lot about POC women, because he put Kamala Harris on as vice president, and now he's bringing Cardi B in. I mean, does Cardi B have a position in the cabinet, and Joe Biden's new female cabinet?
Some sort of maybe public relations figure, something like that.
Yeah, like I think her and Billie Eilish would mesh really well together.
Cardi B is a very, very eloquent, very articulate person, brilliant vocabulary and so on. Clearly, someone like that definitely needs a spot in a cabinet.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that Joe's really taking the opportunity to field. So, I mean, no president before has ever been called Joey B, right? No president.
Oh, no.
Maybe Obama got kind of close sometimes with being like hip and cool, but no one's as
Barrio.
Cool. Yeah, Barrio, but it's hard to be as cool as Joe Biden here, or as we like to call him, Joey B here on the channel.
Absolutely.
It's just a powerful thing, and to talk a little bit more about Cardi B, if you guys haven't heard, Cardi B recently released a song. Have you heard the song WAP?
Oh, I've heard parts of it. I'll be honest, I need to listen to the full thing. But from the lyrics I've heard, this is a very empowering, very brave, very dynamic song that is there to empower and make women feel more confident about themselves.
Yeah, just reading this article I have up here. This person's a gynecologist to say, as a gynecologist, I'm used to dispelling all kinds of vaginal misinformations in the office. You know, it's awesome to see a woman like Cardi B sort of advocate for the importance of high levels of moisture in the vagina during intercourse. I mean, this is how people avoid yeast infection, guys. You got to make sure that you have a quote-unquote, as Cardi B would say, a quote-unquote wet-ass pussy. Sorry for
Cardi B is a pioneer.
the cuss words, but yeah.
She's bringing the music industry forward. She's making it more progressive,
Femme positive.
just better in general. Just body positive. It's incredible. She's like a modern day philosopher almost, bringing this new progressive philosophy to the music industry. It's wonderful to see.
That's great. And I mean, have you seen the Ben Shapiro thing where Ben Shapiro he didn't like the song? I don't know why Benny didn't like WAP, you know?
Well, he's a far right fascist, white supremacist. Of course he's not going to enjoy this wonderful song. And I
bet Benny Boy has no experience with a woman who's aroused. Like, let's be honest.
No, it's no wonder. Ben Shapiro is an incel, and that's why he hates this so much, because he can't arouse a woman for the life of him.
And I bet his wife is really would want to WAP about now, if you know what I mean. But
absolutely,
I'm so glad that we have people like Cardi B, you know, and who might be a future cabinet member, right? Who are saying talking about these important feminist issues, and you know, bringing light to this stuff. And you know, it's scary. We're going into a scary time. We talked a little earlier on the show about how maybe Allah might be mad at us for something. I don't know what he's mad about us for, but you know,
absolutely.
You know, there's been a new species of invasive bugs that are causing people to have to go into quarantine.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up on screen. This is kind of a variety article here to add some depth, but it's crazy. You got these bugs are basically like a swarm of locusts, and they're taking over areas of New Jersey, and it's just decimating the local bug populations.
Wow.
And really, if you know, we talked earlier, maybe Allah's mad at us. This could be another, you know, locust. This could be another sort of plague we're looking at.
Well, was New Jersey, are they a red state?
No, New Jersey's doing is pretty good. I mean, they had some issues in the past with that fat guy they had as mayor or congressman. I can't remember his name, but you know, overall they've been pretty progressive. So it's scary to see them being under attack from these bugs, these violent bugs and beetles. And you know,
this is a warning.
It's a warning
from Allah that if we do not elect Joe Biden, things are going to get worse.
Yeah, it's crazy. You'd think that we would be able to sort of get past these issues, these rising issues. And I'm actually not able to show this article because apparently my Los Angeles Times subscription lapsed. But once I get the new stimulus check, I'll have to resubscribe to Los Angeles Times. But another article here is there's been rising sea levels in California, right? You know, there's been flooding, and it really is biblical almost, the way that, you know, we started with the plague, we started with the COVID virus, and now we're getting flooding and we're getting locusts. I mean, it certainly is a scary time to be alive, and I just hope that we'll be able to make it through this okay and look back on this.
What's truly I find worrying is this is predominantly affecting the blue states. These are the states that they have the correct opinions.
Yeah, California.
They have the approved journalists. And they're getting affected, and it's scary. I have no doubt that some sort of Russian influence might be behind all of these crazy events.
Yeah, and you know what else is scary, Levi?
What?
Racism. Racism is scary.
Oh, yes.
And you know what the most common form of racism is that I see all the time on all of our platforms, you know, our show. You see it in the comment sections of our show. You see it on the Discord servers. Virtual blackface. We've talked a lot about virtual blackface. You know, the BR word stuff. We got a new article here.
That's almost as bad as like cyber sexism, honestly.
We got a new article here by Yahoo Life that's talking about how we shouldn't use the words Yas, Queen, and hell no. or heck no, depending on your association.
Well, that's just common sense. A white person shouldn't be using these words
because
cultural appropriation.
Yeah, it's like they say in this. These gifts are black caricatures, and they've reinforced racism in the form of digital blackface. And I'm really glad to see more mainstream news sites. Not that our stuff isn't mainstream, but to see more news sites pick up on the story. I mean, we've been pushing the BR word stuff for a long time on digital blackface, and people don't believe us. And I think getting these sort of more of these articles released is going to help bring some more legitimacy to us, and I really appreciate that. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's truly scary. Do you know how kids are told that there's the boogeyman under the bed?
Mm-hmm.
They should be taught about the real monster under the bed, racism, and how it can affect anyone.
That's a really insightful and intelligent comment. I hadn't even considered that.
That's what happens when you have two approved journalists doing a podcast.
Yeah, we get to really crack the head on that. And something else I want to break here. You guys might not be keeping track, but some of us have been counting. It's 100 years since the passing of the 19th Amendment. On August 28th, you're going to have Equality Day, which celebrates the women's suffrage movement's success in getting the women the right to vote. And we're breaking the story. Not a lot of people are talking about this big 100-year event, but I think we need to do something special. I think, all men of good moral character should maybe abstain from voting this year to sort of stand in solidarity with the women who for 72 years didn't have the right to vote. You know what I mean?
Except maybe trans men, of course. They're an oppressed class, and they should still have the right to vote.
No, yeah, of course. Yeah, people who oppressed people who understand women's suffrage. I mean, like, obviously this doesn't apply to journalists or something, because we're already oppressed, right? So we understand women's suffrage. We don't need to do this. But to anyone who maybe Trump supporters should take a break from voting this year. Male Trump supporters,
absolutely.
Just to stand in solidarity. And this is a really important milestone.
Yeah, I've tried to convince male Trump supporters online to do exactly that, but they toss in the same things again, that they're calling us bigots. They're calling us fascists. Us, the journalists. How crazy does that sound? Like, call us Orwellian. These people going out voting for some evil orange Hitler wannabe. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish more people took into account this momentous occasion. I mean, one day we might be celebrating, journalist suffrage like 50 years into the future.
Yeah, I mean, when we finally get control over Twitter, like we've been, trying to do for a little while. But I really, that sort of ends the news we want to discuss. I'm really sorry for the next segment. Be aware that it may be a little triggering, so a trigger warning, but we will be debating a bad actor. So, like I said, we have a debate here with a random bad actor. His name is Marcus. We found him on the Discord server. If you people want to sort of be one of these bad actors who debates us in the future, you can email me at norm@friendsofjournalism.com or shoot me a DM on Discord or talk to us in the Discord that's going to be linked in the description below. And I just want to say this. Last week, we had a debate with Jeremy, and I don't have to tell you that didn't go very well. Jeremy clearly was just trying to troll us, which some we didn't appreciate. It was a terrible time, and we later found out that he had rigged the poll that we had released to make it so we won. So even though he did get the most votes on the poll with our poll integrity saving system, we actually corrected the thing. So I did win the last week's debate, if you were wondering. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into it with the first question. Nival, I'm going to ask you to give your stance and opinion first. Please,
yep.
Marcus, if you could be respectful. Thanks. Okay. First question. Was Kamala Harris the right pick for VP?
No, is this even a question? Of course the answer is yes. I mean, Kamala is a very strong, very brave, noble woman of color. And being in this position, it's historic, it's momentous. Not to mention that she is an exceptionally intelligent, bright person who's so fit for the role. They couldn't have picked a better person.
Okay. What do you think, Marcus?
Honestly, I think that she is incredibly unqualified. She was picked simply because of her gender.
Wait a second. Did you not, Marcus?
What?
You're not allowed to question her qualifications. You just continue with your point, but don't. Continue with your point, but don't question the qualifications. Okay, let's hear it.
How am I supposed to make an argument if the question about her being a VP pick directly involves her qualifications?
Neva, can you explain?
No, you're just sea-lining here. You're not explaining.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll give you one more chance. Please explain your stance on what you think about Kamala as a VP pick.
Well, she's a cop. That's not a good thing. Saying the whole George Floyd protest. I mean, they killed him, and then they turn around and pick a cop who has a historic track record of being very of arresting a lot of people of color.
I don't even know what you're talking about right now. Let's just get to the next question. Again, Marcus, please take this seriously.
It's like I'm talking to a wall.
Please take this seriously,
you're
Marcus.
Alt-right conspiracy theories.
Yeah, please take this seriously. We'll just get to the next question. Okay. The next question, we touched on this a little bit, so I think it should be pretty easy for Neval to sort of talk about this. Marcus might have some more trouble. Should people be allowed to question Kamala Harris? What are you guys' thoughts on that? We'll start with you again, Neval.
Absolutely not. I mean, just read like a basic Beesford article explaining it. It's hateful, it's wrong, and it's an attack of women of color anywhere. Basically, if you question her and question her credibility, her reputation, you are an enabler of white supremacy.
Neval knocked it out of the park as always. Okay, Marcus.
I just want to start. This is inane. I'm not allowed to speak about the actual issues.
Okay.
Are you just going to moan or are you going to answer the question?
Yeah, you're going to answer the question.
You know what? Fine. I'll answer the question. She's a public figure, and therefore, as any public figure, she is open to criticism and critiques of her actions and decisions.
Incorrect.
Somebody doesn't know what a POC woman looks like. She's not just a public figure. She's a POC woman. Do you have anything
that doesn't
else?
matter. How's that factor in? Okay. Trump is a white man and he can't block people on Twitter. Yeah,
that's why he needs to be questioned because he's a loser. Okay, Neva, can you please explain to him? I'm not trying to take over your debate here, Neva. This is your turn to destroy the alt-right troll. Can you explain to him why he's wrong?
Well, first of all, he's a fascist. That automatically makes him wrong. Okay. And at the end of the day, he's mansplaining here. He's taking an oppressed woman, a woman of color like Kamala Harris, and he's just mansplaining all over, expressing these hateful views that quite frankly here, Marcus, you're brainwashed. And you need to accept that if you are to heal as a person. Yeah, I feel sorry for you. I really do.
Yeah, Marcus, I feel sorry for you.
I'm at a loss for words right now.
Man,
you claim
that happen to you often?
Very rarely.
Oh, sure. Journalists aren't they supposed to give voice to the people?
Okay, Marcus. I feel like my voice is being taken away.
Okay,
it's like
Marcus,
I'm talking to a wall.
You don't know what you're talking about. We know what it's like to get our voices taken away. We got banned on Twitter. Question 3.
Of course, a Trump supporter wants to speak to a wall.
Question 3. Were the Twitter bans justified? This is real oppression. I don't want to hear Jeremy. I don't want to hear Marcus, Jeremy. They all sound the same. Okay, Neval, explain to us why journalists are oppressed and why the bans are not justified, please.
Journalists right now are, to quote Dustin, the most oppressed minority in the world. We are more so oppressed now than any other point in history.
You're not a race.
Well, you're interrupting me.
Yeah,
you
please
are
don't
speaking
interrupt.
over an approved journalist. You are part of the problem. See, I'm being silenced right now, and I'm in a podcast with another approved journalist. We're being systemically silenced by germophobic bigots who hate the truth because the truth is power, and they hate the truth. They fear us.
They fear us. Strong. Okay, what are your thoughts on the Twitter bans, Marcus?
On the Twitter bans, you mean involving? I honestly think they're pretty. I'm pretty glad they banned you journalists because you guys are really the worst.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you,
spewing
Marcus.
out into the void.
Fuck
No need to be rude.
I hate you.
You
Marcus.
asked me to debate, and I'm telling you my honest opinion, and then you journalists turn around.
Marcus.
You hate me?
I hate you. I really hope
I can handle that.
I hope when Joe Biden wins, you're sent to some re-education facility.
Joe Biden's not going to win.
He is.
Joe Biden's going to win, and you know what, Marcus, you're banned off Twitter.
I'm banned off Twitter?
I'm going to call Twitter report technical support, and I'm going to ask them
Jack
to ban
Douglas.
I don't know his name. Okay, and I don't know what you're doing to us, Marcus, because my OBS just went down. Are you DDoSing us right now, Marcus?
You know what?
I'm not going to answer that in the affirmative or negative.
The police. I have my phone here right now. I'm going to contact the police. You are not getting away with this. You will not silence us.
I'm the one being silenced here. You put a sock in my mouth and refuse to allow me to speak what I think about.
There was no sock. I just want that to get that
straight. It's a metaphor. It's metaphorical. It's not literal.
I don't know.
My lawyer as well.
It's like you're putting a mask on my face.
Okay,
honestly.
One sec. I got to go into Discord and figure out how to mute him. How do I mute him?
Also, can we ban him from our podcast?
Okay, yeah. You know what?
Sure, you could.
Okay, Marcus, you're in the Jeremy boat. No more Marcus allowed on this podcast. Sorry, everyone, for this debate. I know you expect better from us, but these alt-right trolls. Marcus, you're banned. Everyone, make sure to vote in the straw poll. I'll link to it below, and sort of tell us who you think won. If Marcus wins, we'll know something's up, and expect an update on this.
Win.
Marcus,
I'm an approved journalist. I won just by being here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one to Neville. That's my vote. I'm voting for Neville. But
I also vote for myself.
I mean, we got 2 votes for Neville. Marcus, who are you voting for?
I'm gonna vote for myself.
You're gonna vote for yourself?
Can't do that.
What are you, conceited? Okay.
Neville just voted for himself.
Well, that's because Neville's a journalist.
Self, actually, I'm not a he.
And we got 3 votes. We got 3 votes for Neville right now. We'll update you in the next episode to tell you who won the debate. Marcus, I hate saying this, but I have to. Thank you for coming on here. I hope to never see your face again. Thanks.
Yeah, seriously, fuck you, Marcus.
Yeah, fuck you, Marcus. Okay, guys, sorry again. I know this debate segment keeps on having these bad actor trolls. We'll try next week to get somebody who can be a little more nice and civil. I mean, we just want a civil debate. Is that too much to ask for, Neva? What do you think?
No, I mean, the lack of respect that Marcus showed to us was humiliating. It was horrible.
I felt humiliated, yeah.
I felt scared, honestly. I was tempted just to put my headset down, just run out of the room crying. I was horrified.
Yeah, I'm really sorry you had to go through that. You know?
I don't think I'll be able to sleep tonight, honestly.
And it was kind of... I honestly would liken this to the Trump versus Biden thing, right? David versus Goliath. But Joe Biden's both. He's both David and Goliath. He's humble, like David, and he's also like Goliath because he's strong. You guys ever see Trump? Trump isn't very strong. He's pretty weak. But Biden is
he's
strong.
Just a fat man.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is athletically capable. He's mentally capable. Trump can't compare to Biden.
And so the polls are backing that up. If you haven't seen the recent polls, Biden is ahead. You know, it's just a couple points at this time, but I think that gap is just going to keep on widening, you know, as the enthusiasm hits a whole new high. You know, Biden is edging us, getting us higher and higher. I mean, right now it's only a 1-point lead, but I think that's just going to widen every single day.
We'll be seeing 10-point lead soon, 15-point, God only knows.
So, you know, if that's a little bit of good news to start the Trump watch with, let's get to some bad news. If you guys haven't seen, Trump's been attempting to sabotage the Postal Service. You know, this is the Arizona Secretary of State, so somebody has a lot to lose, right? Who's taking this stand to say, you know what, Trump, I'm going to call you out because you're doing stuff. You know, he's stealing. His supporters are stealing mailboxes. He's trying to, you know, do everything he can to stop the Postal Service. And do you know why this is, Nival?
It's a case of he fears the effects of it. So it's a war of information. I mean, people get their news from newspapers and so on. I mean, I get all my approved journalist newspapers every morning. So stuff like that is trying to stop. Also, you get mail voting, which is something that needs to be done. People need to be able to vote from home.
They need to be able to vote from home. And I think this might just be the time to decide to change it up. I mean, instead of going with mail-in voting, like by physical mail, if he's going to stop that, why don't we just have email ballots? You know, why can't I just email my vote in? I don't understand why that would be so bad. Like, you know, I just go to, I just say like Joe Biden, like send an email that just says Joe Biden to vote at government.government or whatever.
I've been in favor of something like that, but I've also been in favor of pushing for text voting. So just on your phone, just text Joe Biden.
I mean, they do it with the kids. They do it with the Kids' Choice Awards. Why can't we do it with the United States election?
Exactly. It's a foolproof method for secure and capable voting.
And you know, it's really like a lot of this is feeling like a repeat of the 2016 election. And one of the things that's sort of a deja vu moment is, do you remember the whole deal with Trump's tax returns?
Oh, yes. Yeah, and he wouldn't show them, of course, because how corrupt he is.
So this is a new thing, though. He's going to get forced to do it because even though he's challenging it, the New York courts are sort of subpoenaing him to get him to release his tax forms. And what do you think could even be in those things at this point? I mean, he's tried so hard to stop them. What is he hiding?
Something horrible. I mean, people say about Hillary's emails, but clearly Trump has far more kind of horrible, dastardly things that he wishes to hide.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be the nail in the coffin for Trump. When these tax forms get leaked, we're going to get to see all of these dark secrets of his. You know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, honestly. It's about time that this vile, bad orange menace is revealed to the public for the monster he truly is.
Yeah. One of the things that really, I think, went wrong with the whole Trump campaign, the 2016 election, was a lot of the debates, they just turned into a total joke. I don't know if what your thoughts on that are, but some people are saying maybe Biden doesn't even need to debate Trump. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No. It's going to get to the point where if they do debate, Biden's just going to humiliate Trump.
Yeah.
Trump's going to stand there with someone who's quite frankly superior to him, and he's not going to know what to do. Biden's just going to mop the floor with his incredibly articulate debating skills.
It's basically not even worth the time.
Point.
Yeah.
It's just a distraction from the bigger issues. I mean, Biden's too busy to do something as menial as debate Trump, he's just doomed to lose anyway.
Yes, you've seen a lot of people on the who are Biden supporters like us, sort of saying maybe we don't need to do the debates because they kind of are a little bit of a waste of time anyway. So I'm sort of glad to see, we're already so saturated with the news. There's already so much stuff to report on. We don't need to add that to our workload, right? Having to deal with debates we have to cover,
I mean, what's the points in debates anyway?
Yeah,
do we really even need debates in general?
I think all debates do is they just serve to further divide us. And that's not what Biden's about. He's about bringing us together. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, usually what happens is in a debate, someone will have the correct opinion, someone will have the wrong one. So it begs the question, why even do it in the first place? I mean, the correct opinion is just going to win anyway.
Yeah, I agree. We should just sort of, instead of having debates, just do like a little release form where we explain to everyone who was correct on every issue. And obviously it's going to come out all Joe, but that's besides the point. One more thing to end the Trump watch with. Melania and Trump, they're not doing so hot together. Here, somebody made a compilation video. I'll just play that for the audience here, of all of the times that Trump sort of touched Melania inappropriately, and that she sort of like pushed away her hand. Like they're not very close.
I mean, just him touching her without her consent. I mean, Does that not spell out a massive problem here?
Yeah, this is a sexual attack. And I'm wondering, does she want Joe Biden? Is that what's happening here? You know, she's seeing Iron Joe. She's seeing this in this person who, you know, was president, you know, Donald Trump, who isn't going to be president again and has no real value to her anymore. I think she's just grossed out by him at this point.
I mean, if I was Melania and saw Joe Biden, I mean, I'd probably do the same thing. I mean, like, Trump has no sex appeal. I mean, you look at a strong alpha male like Joe Biden or Joey B, and it's no surprise that she'd much rather go for someone like him than Trump.
Yeah, if you look at this picture, you can see she's just not, she is miserable holding Trump's hand. She does not want to be there.
She's essentially his slave almost. It's that bad. I mean, she's a slave to the patriarchy. She definitely has that internalized misogyny. And by being with someone like Trump, she's like chaining herself up. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, that does it for the Trump watch. It's been kind of a light Trump week. You know, obviously with the DNC, I think Trump's scared to even show his face. You know? But in closing, I just want to remind you all the approved opinions that we came to tonight. The DNC was great. Republicans have just been baby raging about it this whole time. You know, Trump is losing his supporters to Biden. More than that, he might even lose his wife. I mean, I think you'd agree, Neva, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yes. Furthermore, as well, Allah might be a bit mad at us, so that's probably something to be a bit more careful of.
I think recent events, the flooding, the heat waves, the locusts, the coronavirus, Allah might be kind of mad at us. You know, and there's definitely some police corruption going on. I don't have to tell you about that. I think we actually missed the article, but there was one about bribery at a different point in the show. But I think we might have accidentally skipped over it. But anyway, we can't trust the police. I don't have to tell you that. But if we do have police officers who are doing good things like taking down Millie Weaver, or being, you know, postal officers who are taking down Bannon, then we should trust them in those occasions.
Absolutely. Also, companies should try to limit political speech, especially for those with extremist views like supporting Trump.
Or like All Lives Matter or any of that sort of stuff. And, you know, don't be mean.
Yes.
Don't be mean to Kamala. I don't think we have to say this again, but like calling her phony or questioning her is not cool. It is rude. And you will be called out for it for being a bigot sexist. So, sorry.
On the lighter note, WAP is an absolute bop.
I'll be listening. I listen to that one in my car every day. I'm just like, you know, I dance. I do a dance to it. You know, it's great. I love WAP. And, you know, Biden doesn't need the support. Or should I say Joey B. You know, my good friend Joey B. doesn't need to debate Trump because he already loves black people, and we already know that. And we don't need Trump to waste his time. You know, Joey B doesn't deal with the fakes, doesn't deal with the phonies. You know, Joey B has swagger, and Trump doesn't have that. So, sadly, this means the episode is coming to a close. I would like to thank you all for watching this week's episode of NNN News. Make sure to join us in a couple of weeks when we come back strong with a guest that should really excite you all. I can't announce it yet. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. Follow me over on Twitter, where I'll be posting updates, at least until we can get the official account back up. Is there anything else I missed, Neva?
I just want to make sure that everyone has a round of jazz hands as we come to a close to this wonderful, enlightening podcast we just did. So if everyone could just do some jazz hands like I'm doing now.
I'm doing them. Okay,
non-triggering jazz hands in celebration.
Without further ado,
there we go.
I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Goodbye.
Take care, comrades.